Frankie, how are you, brother?
Joe?
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to be here.
Good to have you. We talked about this many times.
We have. My buddy Chris Lagore, I got to shout him out because he got me listening to you, years ago, and he's been telling me to come on this podcast for forever. So I'm glad to finally get it done. So shout out to Chris. I know he's listening.
Hi, Chris. So you got your own podcast now?
I do. Me and Roger Matthews from Jersey Shore fame. He was the ex-husband of J-Wow. So the champ and the tramp. Champ and the tramp.
Is that what you guys call it?
Yeah, champ and the tramp.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So what's happening, man? You just got off of the Chan Sung Jung fight.
Yeah.
And what's next? What are you up to?
I'm going to go down 35.
Yeah?
How
much do you walk around at?
I'm probably like 56 right now.
Wow.
So for 45, well, for
Marlon's
55.
got to be bigger than you, right?
Marlon is about a little bit bigger than me, yeah.
Come
I think so.
on.
I think he walks around a little
Hit
heavier.
the button, bro.
He's a little bit more of an eater than I am.
Dude, that guy, I have a hard time believing he makes 35 sometimes. You look at him. He's so jacked.
He's got such a small waist, though. But, I mean, his legs and shoulders are so big, but his waist is kind of small, so maybe that's how he carries it.
So have you done a cut like that before?
I haven't been, but I mean, even my last fight, I think I was, getting down to 45, got down to like 44.5. I mean, it's only 8.5 over where I got to be to make 36, and it was such an easy cut for this last time.
So you're in an interesting situation, man, because like you won the title at 55 and you didn't cut any weight at all. And a lot of people were like, "Well, fuck, man, if Frankie Edgar can do it." Because the thing about you at 55 was you were so durable. Like, that was one of the craziest things about some of your fights, like the Gray Maynard fights. Like, fucking A, man. Who reffed those fights?
Yves Levine.
Both of them?
No, the first one.
The first
second one, I think, was Josh Rosenthal.
Well, shout out to both of those guys.
Yeah.
Because a trigger-hungry referee who's got an itchy trigger finger, they would have stopped those fights.
Now, I think nowadays someone might stop it.
Yeah,
Back then I feel like they let it go a little more. I mean, of course, there's still sometimes they let it go a little too long now. It depends.
You never know. You never know. It all changes. It's such a weird thing, right? It's like the referee is trying to help the fighter. They're trying to make sure that the fighter doesn't take unnecessary damage. But, more than once you see fights stopped where you're like, oh, that guy wasn't done.
Right.
He was getting through a bad patch, and that's part of what a fight is about. It's like trying to figure out how to survive.
For sure. I always want the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to get unnecessary punishment, of course, but I'd rather get the benefit of the doubt. I've never been turned off, even with the Ortega and Chan Sung Jung fight. I got both those fights, even though I got rocked in my other fights, these fights I kind of was more coherent. I'm not complaining about the stoppages or anything like that. I could see why they stopped it, but in the Gray fights, even the Benson-Henderson fight where I got upkicked, I don't remember any of those fights. I don't remember like 3-4 rounds of those fights.
Just because it was so wild, because of getting hit?
Yeah, because I got hit and I kept getting hit. Maybe that's why I didn't remember. The Ortega fight, I got rocked pretty good, and I remember in my head saying, all right, there's short time left. Let's get through it. Obviously, didn't make it to the end. And, but I remembered being coherent. Even this last one with Korean Zombie, I remember the ref saying, you got to do something down there, And I was trying to do my best. My body maybe wasn't reacting the way I needed it to be. But, I never been turned off, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but...
I don't know if it's a good thing either. It's like some people say if you get turned off, it's better because then you don't absorb as much punishment.
Right.
I've heard that argument. But then if you do get turned off, your body gets turned off easier next time. That's pretty true.
Yeah,
or
well,
at least seems to be true.
Seems like guys that get cracked, they kind of continue to get cracked and get rocked a little easier. I'm hoping that's not the case for me.
Well, it's not. It's more of the actual knockout itself.
Yeah,
I think
like a bad knockout. Yeah,
it's crazy that you have had a bunch of fights where you don't remember most of the fight. Like that. That's a thing that a lot of fighters don't necessarily talk about, but it's a reality of hard fights.
Yeah. My second fight with Gray, where Yves Levine was the referee. I remember, I think the fourth round, my coach Mark was like, telling me, we got one more round. And in my head, I'm like, one more round? What happened to 3 and 4? I didn't remember at all. And also, I when I dropped me, I rolled my ankle really bad, probably a grade 2 sprain. And I remember in the fourth round coming to, and my ankle was hurting me. I'm like, what happened I have no idea what happened to my ankle. And even walking back, I was kind of, I don't know. Sometimes when you get rocked, you get depressed for some reason. I noticed that even in the gym. When I get rocked, I get a little bit of depression going on for some reason.
Like, what does it feel like when you say depression? I
remember, you're just down on yourself. I was emotional. I think I was crying after the Gray fight in the locker room. I think they have camera back there, and there's a video of me.
Even
like,
the second fight when you stopped him.
Not the second fight, but the second. Well, that was the second fight, not the third fight.
The third fight you stopped him.
Third
That's
fight I
right. The
stopped
second
him.
fight you won.
Right.
The fucking fights that you had with Gray were so crazy. They were so. He was so big.
Yeah, he's a big boy, man.
Oh, so big for 55. You know, and
Yeah.
you were a guy who didn't cut any weight at all.
Nothing. I literally would eat breakfast on weighing day.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you ever think back then about dropping down? Or were you just like, fuck it, I'm the champ. Why should I?
Well, that's why. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm the champ. Why should I go down? I mean, I'm winning. I'm beating these guys.
Yeah.
Even the Benson Henderson fights, they were super close. You know, I could have won either way. And but I just felt, you know, all right, I'll go down now. I lost 2 in a row here. What more can I gain from here? Let me go down to 45, and that's when I fought Aldo for the 45-pound belt.
When you think about it, like if you had a chance to do it all over again, like if you had to engineer your career all over again, would you do it exactly the same way? Would you fight at 55? Well, you definitely would against BJ, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't. You can't go back and change those things.
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
It all worked out for me. You know, I got a world title. I had I'm continuing to have a pretty good career. There's always things you wish you could do differently. You know, I can't be that guy that's gonna say, oh, I wish I did this, wish I did that. Things went the way they went.
Well, they went pretty fucking good. I mean,
yeah, I'm not complaining.
especially
you know,
the BJ Penn fight. I remember the first one in Abu Dhabi. I was there for that one. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, that was a big victory, man. And
yeah,
the second one too.
That was big. Yeah, the second one was probably even better just because I, more
Cemented
definitively
it.
won. You know, and I felt like too, like BJ had my back in in that second fight, and everybody thought, BJ gets your back then, you're in trouble. And I was able to defend. I think it reversed him, so I kind of showed a little bit of all my complete skills in that fight.
Out of all the guys that I've ever seen fight, I've never seen anybody who controls people with the legs the way BJ does. He's got the craziest dexterity in his legs.
He does. I heard when he was younger, he could stand up and put his leg over his head, standing up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
Like just lift it up and put it back there? Like not even grab it?
Yeah, not even grab, put it over his head. I don't know if that's true. I've seen him jump out of the pool, too. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. No, he's an incredible athlete.
Yeah.
And his physical talents were unusual, but he worked on it. Like this other thing a lot of people don't realize. Like there's some great videos of BJ stretching,
right.
And he would stretch with bands. So he has all this crazy, like he would grab his foot, like put it on his chest. He's got bands, and he's